Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. While the crypto sky is falling, we're going to talk about why XRP wins and 15-minute cities. You want to see what they really look like? We're going to show them to you today. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.99 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's off 2.8%. We're back under $4 trillion, just slightly, but Bitcoin 115,600 plus, Ethereum 4,300 plus. XRP in number 3 spot is $3 on the nose right now. We're off 3.9 in the 24 and off 6.9 on the 7-day. I want you to know I bought that dip. Oh, I bought that dip. Yeah, ranging between 295 and 315. I think I got it 297, I think it was. Anyway, it wasn't a lot, but just out of discipline, I made the move. I did it. I struck. Just like lightning. I went in there and got it. Yeah, that's what I do. You know, I'm a long-term investor with discipline. I believe in the things that I'm in, and that's what I did, not financial advice. Let me tell you something else. It's iTrustCapital, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, this is the best home in the world for crypto IRAs, and you can move things over so simply. Your 401k and other things that you have, investment products, not a problem. Let me tell you, they've come out with this premium custody account, and it is on fire. Bam, boom, bam, bam, boom, bam. Yeah, a lot of people loving it, Yeah. And with the closed loop system that it offers, it really allows for a lower level of attacks from bad actors. So if you click on something you shouldn't have done, or I click on something I shouldn't have done, or give someone critical information that we shouldn't have in a hustle, you know, listen, this is how bad things happen, and they know that, and they've taken every opportunity to try to remove the vector from attack. I'm telling you, this is an amazing opportunity. This closed loop system here allows you to move your crypto and your dollars over into the account. You can trade all the assets on the platform just like you can anywhere else. They even, I think, just recently added limit stop markers so you can place those orders too. But I tell you, what's amazing here is that they closed that loop. So God forbid if you were attacked, the only thing that could happen if you messed up something on your end is that the bad guy could cash out your crypto and send it directly to your checking account, because you can't move the crypto off of the platform. And that's how these bad guys get away with this stuff. And iTrustCapital is taking the steps to try to prevent that from happening. I tell you, it's a remarkable opportunity, and you won't really realize it till you go start opening up an account and find out for yourself. And if you haven't done the IRAs, I don't know what you're waiting for. The biggest power move in the world would be to move your 401k over into the IRA and just watch it go cray-cray, knowing full well that the United States is about to pass the final legislation for digital assets. But it's not financial advice from me. Everybody's got to make their own move. I'm just saying. Link underneath the video to get started. What are you waiting for? It's a hell of an opportunity. It really, really is. Look at this right here. There's a coordinated social media campaign to smear the reputation of MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. Not that he hasn't done a great job on his own. I'm watching it in real time, says Bitcoin Therapist. Bots, paid actors, crypto influencers are all involved. I think this is pretty interesting because, you know, we know that Bitcoin is one giant PR machine, right? We know that there's the Michael Saylors and the Corey Klippsteins of the world that are out here paying people to be the Bitcoin face. It's absurd, right? But now they're talking about being smeared. Is it being smeared, or are people just talking about what they see that is not favorable, right? So nonetheless, I say if MicroStrategy goes down because it possibly turns into a house of cards, it's on Michael Saylor's back, just like when he was the biggest loser in the dot-com bubble. He racked up $13 billion loss during the internet dot-com bubble. Did you know that? That's a fun fact. So has he learned anything? You know, he's still putting all his eggs in one basket. How does this end? Does it end the same way it does for Michael Saylor in the dot-com bubble? I don't know the answer, but these are great questions. Okay. I think Bitcoin makes it long term. I think countries are going to adopt Bitcoin. I do. I think BlackRock is already playing the game. I think when you see BlackRock and Fidelities of the world playing with Bitcoin and offering it to their clients, well, it won't be long, right? One thing I will say is the corporate treasury aspect of any digital asset, knowing that these digital assets can really range and in a down market can be off by 60, 70, 80, and sometimes 90% in a down market. And what does that mean to companies that have a corporate treasury? If they borrow against that corporate treasury and they're not prepared for the extreme downside we could see, well, then it could be a real problem for a lot of corporates bringing these digital assets in. Handle with care, I say. And then, of course, there's the other side. The positive side to this is that once we get legislation and a lot of financial institutions playing in this space, adopting it from a city, corporate, municipal level to national level, and all the rest of it for digital assets, isn't it possible that we don't see the extreme volatile dips in the market as we've seen in history's past? That's possible too. So there's new dynamics and paradigms that are coming into this space, and we all want to not lose sight of that. Just like this right here from Federal Reserve Jerome Powell.
So our role with Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at the banks, and we think it's banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound. As a good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. The threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in crypto activities, and that's because they're so new, and we don't want to make the mistake. If you're making a choice to conduct that activity inside a bank, which is inside the federal safety net with deposit insurance, then you want to be pretty sure that it's a safe and sound activity. So, we're not against innovation, and we certainly don't want to take actions that would cause banks to terminate customers who are perfectly legal. So
there you have it. Banks are going to be offering crypto services. That's coming. And we know rate cuts are supposed to be coming too, but this came out over the weekend here. It was Hugo Filion from Flare Networks and the people around the community there talking about investors may soon earn 4 to 7% annual yields for XRP holdings. Now, VetXO made a good point and said, why would I want to lock up my XRP when I could make more than 4 to 7% just by holding it in general on an annual yield? And I say, I totally get that point. The other thing is that we have to be careful with new platforms, right? It's like DeFi platforms are exciting, right? But the one flaw they've all had is the bridge to get to them. It turns out that in years past, and I'm not saying that this is the case for Flare Networks at all. I'm super excited about that possibility for Flare Networks and the success it could have. And I do mean that. But at the same time, in a more general macro sense, we got to make sure that this platform doesn't suffer the same things that platforms in the past have. And I think they feel like they've got it answered, and we're about to find out en masse that it is or not, right? And that's going to be fun to watch. I'm super excited about the idea of yield coming to XRP because it'll be the biggest unlock of idle liquidity in the history of digital assets. I really do believe that. And I'm super excited to see that get panned out. And listen, if you can give me a return that competes with the US bond market and I don't have to sell my XRP to get that return, well, you're telling me I don't have to create a cap gains event to earn my yield? That's how you never sell your XRP ever again. And take a look at this here. Shout out to Dan Fisher here, the community relations manager at Ripple. Boy, I tell you what, this guy's amazing. If you haven't had a chance to meet him, you should come to XRP Las Vegas. He is a wonderful guy. And here he lays this out here. Look at this. Network XRP average fee, 0.2 hundred thousandths of a penny, whatever it is, 200 thousandths of a 1 penny. I mean, whatever that is, it's very little for a payment. And obviously, he caught ETH at 40 cents, which is on a good day. When the network gets busy, it's probably $40. It's unbelievable. Bitcoin, $2, caught them on a good day. Average speed 10 to 60 minutes, 1 minute for ETH. So you see, they're beating every department here. Any questions to where this is going? Or how about let's hear the way David Schwartz says it.
Ridiculous. Like you go to a bank and you tell them you want to make an international payment. You tell them, how much is this going to cost me? Oh, we don't know. How much money is going to be delivered? Oh, we don't know. Because there's no messaging. The money is just sort of pushed down a pipe and eventually something will come out the other side. We kind of wound up having to fix like the whole payments infrastructure. And I think we built RippleNet, which is a genuinely like better payment technology. We have the XRP ledger, which I think is a genuinely better payment technology. And, you know, there's this saying, like, if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door. Well, we got two better mousetraps, you know, where payments are still awful. So I think, you know, we have the technology to allow every financial institution on the planet to settle with every other financial institution in a compatible jurisdiction in any asset in seconds for less than a penny. Just think about this. It's crazy, but
think about it is right.
Prior to
seriously, for less than a penny, every bank. And the reason they haven't changed or gone to it is because they know they're making money on the friction in the old system, right? But all of that is about to change with legislation becoming law, which is why we're now seeing collectively around the world, Japan approve a yen peg stablecoin for the first time as early as this fall. And I believe dimes to donuts, it'll be on the XRP ledger too, because we already see the real USD, USDC, the Singapore stablecoin, 2 euro stablecoins, and the Braza Bank USD Brazil stablecoin. I think this continues to grow. As we already know from VetXO, that USD, Euro, Japanese yen, British pound, Australian dollar, and the Swiss franc are already stablecoins issued on the XRP ledger. So add those to the pile. So this is pretty darn remarkable. And that's through Bitstamp, by the way, and Robinhood. So that's super exciting right there. So I am now very excited that we're seeing what is taking shape here. Do you guys see what's happening here? The XRP ledger being proliferated with all the country's money. Isn't that what we're seeing? And we're this early still. But, you know, think about the G7, think about the G20. We don't need all 190 plus countries' dollars on the XRP ledger to be successful. No, no, no. We just need the G7, G20, the largest economies of the world. And once they're there, it will be considered the difference between the internet and the dark web. And everybody will want to be there because that's where the largest economies are and the largest financial institutions. That's how this is going to go. And honestly, I believe that's exactly how we're watching it go right now, right? And that's why Ripple is waiting on that national charter trust license and the Federal Reserve master account, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to seal the deal, right? Make them a lender of last resort with all the world's digital money on the XRP ledger. How about that? Boy, I tell you, it's a new highway for the new monetary system. I absolutely love where we're going. It's an infrastructure play. And I got to give you this again from Sal Gilberti here from Tucrium.
You know, what's Ripple going to do with its 40 billion XRP, given that they filed to be a bank? You know, there's one of the leading theories that they just hold that on their balance sheet. They get their banking license and they become a top 20 capitalized bank in the world. That's with XRP at $3. XRP goes to, you know, some multiple of $3. They become a top 10 bank or even the top bank in terms of capitalization. That's pretty astounding.
I'll tell you what else is pretty astounding. First of all, he's one sharp fella. I could tell you that. Shout out to both of those guys. They're both extremely bright. Let me say this, you know, and let's talk about the fact that I just showed you the world's dollars on the XRP ledger are already happening. Now let's blend in what he said. Imagine Ripple getting the banking license and then saying, hey, we're not going to get rid of the 40 billion XRP anymore. We're going to hold on to it like a lender of last resort, like a central bank. But now this central bank also has a ledger with all the world's money on it in stable coins and CBDCs. Now it's almost like a BIS or a World Bank, like an IMF, right? A new version of SWIFT even. All these things combined, if you want to be honest. That's what I'm here for. And that, I believe, is what we're seeing take shape. Let's take a look at this. I know everybody's freaking because crypto's been falling like a manhole cover from the sky. You know, the sky is falling for crypto. Well, you know what? 265 to 365 is a macro range. So if we're inside of that, everything is noise. So all the up and down we've been watching is noise. And why is this noise happening? None of us can really know. But what I attribute it to, just my personal opinion, is the fact that Congress went on break for August. And when they come back, the stage is set for the market to explode as long as they continue to get the work done. Getting the Clarities Act passed, signed into law by October the way it's scheduled. Getting the tax bill done for taxes in America and for crypto. And by the way, probably won't do it this time, but I'd love to see them switch to a fair use tax. I think that would make a lot of sense. Seems how we got all this velocity of money moving around digitally on chain. We could instantaneously have taxes collected at the purchase of every sale and get rid of income and cap gains taxes. Meanwhile, what we're waiting, if we see all of this legislation pass properly and get done on timely fashion, is $13 trillion, where we're at $4 trillion now, so another $9 trillion flooding into this market. I say to you, I've got room on my bingo card for this, so bring it on, ladies and gentlemen, bring it on. Well, now we're about to go into the Freedom Zone where you can join us. And today we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you a little clip from Jeff Bezos, and that's a fun clip. But then I'm going to give you a real clip about what a 15-minute city actually will look like and how the people that organize them actually see all of us. You can join by clicking the link underneath the video and come on in. Again, not financial advice from me or anyone else.